Alright, hello, and welcome back to this Let's Play of Myst Remastered. Last episode, we gained access to the ship, and then found a white page, and found this bookshelf, and I did some reading. So, in this episode, we're gonna probably do some more reading here, so if you don't like reading or don't care or whatever, I'm gonna put a timestamp somewhere in the video or description, so you can just skip to the puzzle solving, I guess. But yeah, so let's go ahead and read or pick up where we left off. So this is a book about the mechanical age. All right. Before arriving in this age, I was determined that it would be a journey to a world very different from my previous adventures, and it was. The sky here is dark and gray and incessantly displays flashes of lightning in the distance. I met a very old man with a long beard and hair that hangs to his waist. He is very feeble and has trouble even moving. This man has obviously been through very many things in this strange world, and I have learned many things from him. He has told me an interesting story of this world's history. Years ago, he told me there was a beautiful city that rose up out of the water. It housed many people inside its walls, and the people had everything they wished for. The city was surrounded by 3 high hills which rose higher than the city. On the east hill of the city rested a large lookout post. The people of the city had constructed the post expecting visitors to arrive from the east. The people had no means of traveling on the water, which forced them to merely wait for friend or foe. As time passed, friendly visitors brought rumors of an enemy that existed beyond the horizon. The people grew fearful, yet nothing happened. One day, the usually sunny sky became as dark as night, and black ships appeared on the horizon. The lookout post attempts at peace were turned away, and the sentries there were easily overwhelmed. The ships continued to wreak havoc on the city, apparently destroying everyone and everything. After the foundations of the city were destroyed, the city sunk deep into the ocean, and only the lookout post remained. The black ship sailed away. The man continued to say that 8 people had hidden and managed to survive through the attack. In the 9 years since the attack, 2 of the survivors had died. He also said that it was rumored that 10 years from the attack, the enemy would return to finish the destruction they had started so long ago. I have decided since hearing the man's story it would be admirable to save this civilization and stop this enemy's plans of destruction. I am excited about the adventure that awaits me, and an idea has sparked in my mind to provide the needed defense for these people. I met the remaining survivors today and have began working on a plan for protection. After a short absence, I have returned to this age with my 2 sons. They have as of yet traveled rarely with me, and they are understandably excited to be here. They have grown considerably since Everdunes, and it is already obvious to me that they will be a great help this time, instead of the nuisance they had been in the past. All 3 of us, along with 4 of the healthier survivors, began construction today. We are building upon the old city's ruins, which will provide a perfect foundation for our fortress. My sons have been spending much of their spare time on the South Island, where most of my materials are stored. I am very pleased with their intelligence, and their creativity is refreshing to see as they work on some small projects of their own. It has been over 4 months now, and construction is going well. My sons love the world except for its gray sky. They detest the gray sky and tell me many times they wish the sky here were like the blue sky in Myst. The old man I first talked to tells me that the enemy is due in 4 months. I feel we will be ready when the time comes. The man reminds me of Emmett in many ways, and I often wonder how Emmett and his people are doing. It has been 6 months of work, and we have finally finished the fortress. It rests between the 3 hills, which are now only islands due to a rising water level that the people experienced after the attack. Inside the fortress, I have designed a most intriguing device. It makes use of a technology called holography. I began experimenting with on my visits to Asfmir. It will be working in a couple of days after I compensate for some small miscalculations. This holograph device will enable the survivors to learn to use the fortress. Huh. Okay. The enemy is due to come soon, and I trust the fortress will provide sufficient protection for all of us. Track. Yep, that is the fortress. The Black Strikes have come. Their attack was substantial. Their weapons have been stopped, and it appears they have turned away in defeat. I could not help but smile as I watched their boats leave. Insignia of the Black Ship. Last night we had a small celebration, and the old survivors danced their dances of old. My sons did not understand why the sky had not turned back to its original blue. The old man told them that the storms would never end until the enemy was destroyed. I assured my sons that a blue sky was not worth the risk of death, and they seemed to hear me. I have had a healthy adventure and have begun work on a new book. Once again, I must leave a familiar age in search of a new universe I have begun. But first I will have an extended time with Catherine, whom I miss very much. I must also return to the people of the tide. I believe in my travels I have found a substance that will ease the pain of their bone ailments, and that they have long endured. I hope to return to mechanical age one day and find the population growing, and my fortress still strong. Though the sky may always be black, I am confident the people here feel a heavier darkness has been lifted from their shoulders. Okay. Interesting. So when we went there, the sky was blue. So, what's this? What age is this? Is this the ship? This is the ship. Okay, what's the other one? The stone ship? Oh, yes. We'll do this one later, I guess, when we actually get to that age. We'll save that for the stone ship age when we get there. Okay, so this is the ship. It has been a while since I have heard only silence, and I enjoy it greatly. I think, for some reason, I do not feel altogether welcome in this new world in which I have arrived. But how could I be unwelcome in an age with no inhabitants? It is, of course, only in my head. This world is very beautiful, but I think I have yet to even ever write in a journal that an age I have linked to is horrid or disgusting. From the grassy hill where I am standing, I can see green fields below along with a few scattered forests. A rather large lake looms some distance from where I am standing, yet the water's blue can be seen plainly from here. The air is fresh and the sky is sparkled with white clouds. It is absolutely breathtaking, and yet that strange feeling again. Perhaps it is the hot breeze that continues to blow from the north, hotter than I would have imagined. It almost singes my skin, and I feel quite uncomfortable when it comes. I will try to ignore it. Night has almost arrived, and the sunset is spectacular. Oranges and reds have settled above the western horizon. Though night has come, the horizon still glows red, long past the sunset. Dark red flows from the horizon and blend into the black sky. Again the feeling, and I am beginning to believe it is not all in my mind. I must sleep now. I will need my strength to explore more tomorrow. I have had to return home due to an unprecedented natural occurrence more frightening than I have ever experienced. I was awakened by terrible shakings in the ground and explosions on all sides of me. Gigantic balls of fire were falling from the sky, and I immediately left in fear of my life. I must remember to bring a Myst linking book with me when I return in case the one left there has been destroyed or damaged. I have returned to a different world than the one I left only 3 months ago. It has been transformed into a barren desert land with only gigantic craters scattered across the land to provide variety. Strangely enough, the small grassy hill where I spent my first night remains exactly the way I found it. Apparently, the falling meteors did not hit this area, leaving an oasis in the midst of this horrible desolation. The hot wind I remember has turned into a rather pleasant breeze, which is at least one improvement. I fear it is the only improvement. The magnificent lake I saw on my first visit is now completely dried up. However, another lake now exists and appear to be quite a bit larger. I assume one of the falling meteors created this lake due to its circular shape, and the jutting rock that grows out of the center of the lake. The rest of this world seems like desert, although I will verify that statement with closer inspection. Through this world has a little visual excitement to offer. It offers much to the ears. Sounds constantly flow through my ears, and I have found where a few of them originate. It seems, as Catherine says, I do find beauty in everything. Last night I was awakened by a horrible hissing. I was sweating, and the heat was so intense that I immediately dipped my head in a nearby stream to cool it down. The hot breeze had returned, along with a low roar from the ground. I walked a short distance to observe some red flames shooting up from the earth. Suddenly, the ground began to crack, and a huge chasm opened. The chasm continued to grow until it was far too wide to cross. Then the tremors subsided, leaving only a dull roar. I have decided, however, I can use the chasm to my advantage. Perhaps the heat from the chasm can be harnessed. Collect heat, radiant chasm. Okay. Even as the chasm has ripped into the surface of this world, it has opened up a whole new world to explore. Although uncomfortably hot, I found it possible to reach a cave in the chasm that had been created, and have now explored deep into the crust of this planet. I have found a vast underground cave system that will take many years to map and explore. I will also look for a safer way to reach the underground than through the chasm wall. This age seems to change on its own, so I feel I should leave again and see if things are different when I return. It's also important that I check on Sirius and Arachner and make sure everything is going along well. When I return, I also hope to bring back some tools I will need for my plans to explore the underground. Oops. The abundance of raw materials here is beginning to amaze me. I have returned with some of the complex tools I know I would be needing. I assumed I would have to return for more basic materials. However, it seems as though I will be able to find everything I need here. Of course, iron is abundant, but I've also found titanium occurring naturally. I am all the more excited to begin work. Everything is set, and I look forward to tomorrow. My raw materials are all here. I think I will be able to have most of my additions to this age completed within 1 year. I so love working with my hands, whether writing or building. I began today on the fades out. Okay, well, I have decided to compass. 3 meters is not enough support for the beams, although amazingly strong. Hatch something. To be one of my most prized inventions, could have never imagined it could come together quite. I doubt. 14 instead of 8. Completely fatigued. I am so happy to have completed tomorrow. I am leaving today in order to bring back Sirius and Arachner. I have left them alone in Channelwood. I believe they will enjoy all there is to see here. The age seems to have stabilized. I believe the meteor set off a period of volcanic activity by piercing into the shallow crust, but the tremors have become few. I have just noticed that a large amount of this journal has curiously vanished from the very pages on which I wrote over the last 18 months. Fortunately, I have copied many of my construction notes in another journal. I do not understand the many mysteries of this world, but I trust I will discover logical answers to my questions. I have a feeling that many of my questions can be answered in another age, to which I hope to travel soon. But for now, I must simply accept this world's mysteries and take pride in my accomplishments. Okay, so there's a picture of a piano. And I guess that's what it looks like. The age looks like. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to remember this, so I will actually take a picture of that. Okay. Okay, so I've taken a picture of... Whoop. I have taken a picture of what it looks like. Or the notes, I guess, we need to play. Okay, so let's get to it. Ooh, that was a lot of reading. right. So first we have okay. So how many over is that? Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. How many clicks are there actually? $35? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. So there's 36. Okay, so that make it easier. So we may have... So this one here would be button number... 16. Let's see if that counts. So this is 1. Ha! Okay. $23 and $21. Okay. Aha. So 4 is this one. 11. 11. Okay, that would be 11. 11 and 13. Okay. So that makes sense. Okay, here goes nothing. Ooh, fancy. Okay. that worked. Okay. Time to head to the next age. All right. This looks different. Clock looks broken, I think. Oh, this broke off. So the clock needs to read 2 o'clock. I'll just leave it on. Okay. Ah, red page. What is this? Crystal? So this crystal is vibrating, and this microphone is picking it up and broadcasting it over to this tower, I guess. So this one is clock, tick of the clock. That's what it is. Microphone is recording it and sending it to the tower. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, this is the chasm. Oh, there you go. Ooh, that's pretty. So the chasm makes this sort of rumbling sound. Because it's a chasm, of course. Okay. Ooh, it's pretty smoky here, or foggy. Ah, blue page. So, drip drip sounds like trickling water. Okay. So this is wind, I guess. This is wind. Okay, let's go down here. What is this? Ah, lights. Excellent. Creepy tunnel. Ah, turned off the lights. Okay. Ah, now we're in the middle. Okay. Whoa. That's louder for a small door. So this is drip drip. Okay, I see. You probably gotta match the sounds. Okay, that's drip drip. Okay, this is crevice. Okay, clock. Oh, the clock is set. Nope, this is what I want. Okay, so the clock is set. Crystal. This is set. Okay, everything I think is set. Alright, sweet. So I guess now, anything in here? No. Okay, so now we should take this ladder down. And we could probably open that main door that we've seen. Okay. Okay. So that's the air. Screen. Block. Crystal. train. What's going on here? This doesn't match any of the sounds. Oh, maybe you gotta put what's missing. So, that's the crystal. Clock. Crystal. Oh, that's what it is, okay. We have 1, 2... So we have crystal, broken clock, crystal. I guess? Huh. So we have broken clock, wind, chasm, I wonder if these are color coded in any way. Green button. There's also a green button. I don't know. Go back and look at this. Okay. Seems like it'd be right. I guess I have to play every sound at least once. Crystal, clock, chasm, wind, with water. I don't quite understand what's going on here. Okay, so we have crystal, clock. Okay, crystal, clock, water, chasm. Oh, I wonder if the order has to match. Wow, this episode's getting kind of long, but I'm gonna solve this. I'm going to solve this door before it. Before we just leave. Okay. I bet 5 sounds. They gotta be organized like they are on this tower. Okay, so I will take a picture of this. Now I will run back. I hope that's it, because otherwise I'll be out of ideas. So, the first one is dripping water. This one is supposed to be chasm. This one's clock. This one's crystal. Is it open? No. What? Okay. Chasm. Clock. Crystal. That should be it. I think those are Half-Life 2 sounds. Original Half-Life sounds. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, we'll go ahead and stop the episode here, and we will pick up next time. Hopefully, well, I mean, we will figure this out. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next episode.